Father, I pray that you be with our council. It's not easy doing what they do, and they don't do it for love or money or glory, but I sure appreciate them and hope you all do too. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Gary. Gary from the Queens of All.
Joseph Cox. Jacob Everett.
Present.
Eric Hayden. Dennis Johnson.
Present.
Emily Pearson.
Present.
We have a quorum with all members present. Moving along to the approval of the agenda. Do you have any additions or amendments tonight?
We do. Under new business, first due MOU with county, a GeoBond local legal counsel agreement, and an August MAC environmental study.
Okay, Rhonda, so how I have that, I have festival funds as line A, the legal fee for the GO bond for line B, the MOU for first due is line C, and August MAC is line D.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Any other additions to the agenda? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved. Dennis Johnson.
Second, Emily Pearson.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve, or opposed? We have an agenda. All right, moving along to the approval of the prior minutes. These are for the town council staff meeting minutes dated August 14th and the town council meeting minutes dated August 19th. So everybody had a chance to look those over. Any changes, revisions, additions? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve those two sets of minutes.
So moved. Dennis Johnson.
Second, Emily Pearson.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go there. Moving along to the approval of claims. Has everybody had a chance to look over the claims? Any questions on those? Mr. Hayden, do you have any questions on anything? You sure?
Yeah.
All right, all right. If no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims dated 8/19/25.
So moved. Dennis Johnson.
Second, Emily Pearson.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's get the bills paid.
Thank you.
All right, moving along, public hearing for the adoption of ordinance 8-05-205-02, which relates to the GEO bond. I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved, Eric Hayden.
Second, Dennis Johnson.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The public hearing is now open.
So you want to give a little background to it?
Actually, I will let you do that.
So this is a general obligation bond. I guess Aaron, do you want to do it? You might have
Yeah, you're probably
exact
better.
numbers.
Yeah.
Or I can. It doesn't matter.
No, this is a general obligation bond. The ordinance allows us to bond for up to 2.7 million, but our intention is to bond for 2.5. And these are for projects, they can include the new fire engine, the underground gas tank for the marina, the purchase of real estate, for water, some matching, grants, a new path for tollgate by Red Bridge and some of the work on Jackson Street. This is going to allow the town to spend this money as they deem appropriate on one of those or on multiple ones, depending on how the funds go. We introduced this, we've been talking about this probably for 6 months. I know we introduced the ordinance on the 5th, and if tonight, once we're done with the public hearing, if the council wishes, they can suspend the rules where you have to do a third reading and you can approve it after second reading.
So I guess the only other piece of information is when Mr. Lutz was on the council, he gave several presentations during different meetings about what this meant and how this operated and why it was so impactful for Cicero. So this is the continuation of that activity. So I guess any questions?
Questions from the public?
So the things that you were mentioning are possibilities or realities?
That's what we're looking at right now. That is our project list that we have tied to this. And then not necessarily all of them will go through.
In order to spend bond funds, they have to be part of this. And so we've listed several projects, but we can only spend the bond on something from that list.
And the list that Aaron read was not all inclusive. That list was put together previously.
Other comments or questions?
So
That's what I was read from.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, this is Exhibit A of the bond ordinance.
Sorry,
Yeah, it
I
is
was
all
incorrect.
inclusive.
Would you mind repeating fire station?
A new fire engine,
Fire engine.
underground gas tank for the marina, the purchase of real estate, possible land for new water, either a site or a well to well, some projects in the parks to deal with erosion, the path from Tollgate to Red Bridge, Main and Jackson, money to go towards improvement of that intersection, and then West Jackson Extension from CCMG to Main Street to help fund that extension.
Any other questions, comments?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Thank you all very much. Moving along to council committee reports, OTC.
Aaron, did we need to go back to the geo bond?
Yeah, the way we set this up is once the public hearing was done, you could vote on adoption.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh,
so if
that
you're-
was your, I'm sorry, that's your fee on the, in new business. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to approve it tonight, you would have to suspend the rules to vote on the second reading for final adoption. And so there would be two votes, one to suspend and one to approve.
Okay. So at this point, if there's no questions, as long as we've been talking about this, I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules so that we can't approve it tonight.
So moved, Dennis Johnson.
Second, Emily Pearson.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. With the rules being suspended for no third hearing, I will entertain a motion to, how should I read this out, Aaron? Adopt ordinance number 08-05-2025-02, which relates to the GO bond.
Yes.
So before we do that, Aaron, when we adopt this, is this when we get our rate or what?
Once this is adopted, the next step will be for Baker Tilly and bond counsel to go out to sell the bonds. And that's when we will get the exact rate that we're gonna wind up with. And so this is what authorized them to take that final step. And so I believe the thought is we will close on the bond issue within the next couple of weeks here, depending on how quickly we can get out and see what the offers are. A couple months, okay.
So we would be a couple months out before getting locking rates. I mean, there's discussion of rate movement.
Correct. And after we get the bonds, we'll sell the bonds, about 2 to 3 weeks later, we'll go to close on the bonds, and that's when you'll have the money in hand.
I'm talking about rates though.
Locking in rates.
It's about 2 months.
2 months to have a rate locked in.
Correct. They'll be locked into the 20-year term.
Okay. And what have they done over the last month? Anything?
They've been pretty steady, actually.
Have they?
Yeah, I mean, we've heard rates are gonna go down, and we wanna try to get this done before Thanksgiving, for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, that rates tend to creep up toward the end of the year, just because of demand, so that's our goal, is to move this along as quickly as possible, get the rates locked in for you.
Okay.
And we'll take this to the open market?
Yes, yeah, with you guys have good financial history, good healthy balances, so we're planning on getting these bonds rated. And that's one of the reasons it's gonna take a little bit longer, and that's why we've been asking for all the financial information. Because if we can get a good rating on the bonds, we can get a much better interest rate, for the town.
Okay.
It's a little bit more upfront work, a little bit more cost upfront, but the savings we get over the 20 years will outlast the cost.
Okay. All right.
Are the citizens
just to clarify, they wouldn't be able to buy like $100 of it. They would have to buy 2.55.
Well, no, they can usually increments of 5,000.
Okay, so they can't. All right.
They usually, I mean, just to be fully transparent, most of these underwriters are selling these to like large insurance companies and are getting very low interest rates, probably lower than what you would be happy for. But we're trying to get the lowest interest rate for the town. But you would-
That's actually a very
That's
good
nice.
question.
Yeah.
It never even crossed my mind. So
Yeah.
thank
But
you.
that is, if it's something that you have citizens
And you have to
interested in.
commit to it for 20 years.
Well, there's certain bonds that are be due in 6 months, all the way to 20 years, so you get to pick and choose.
Okay,
which-
okay.
The motion was made, right?
Yeah. Well, no, the motion has not been made. I just entertained a motion.
So I'll make the motion to approve ordinance 0805-2025-02.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second, Dennis Johnson.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Check that one off. All right. Now moving along to council committee reports. OTC, Ms. Pearson.
Okay, OTC is no longer an organization, so Friends of the Park has taken on OTC. And so I wanted to report that the Friends of the Park car show yesterday was a huge success. Thank you to Superintendent Hunter and his staff. It was a huge amount of work for them and a lot of volunteers. And Mr. Gary Green was manning the grill as well. But it's a true community effort, and I know Friends of the Library made a lot of money out of their bake sale, so I'm waiting to hear back from Friends of the Park, but we really need to give them a shout out. As well as everyone, please keep September the 14th, that's a Sunday, open, because we are having our annual spaghetti dinner, Friends of the Park. All of the money, it's a donation dinner, all of the money, we don't turn in anything for plates or anything, we're not reimbursed. All of that money is split evenly between the police and the fire department. In the last 2 years, we've been able to give both $2,000. So come out and eat. The Mulligans are gonna be playing. It'll be a great event.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ms.
You're
Pearson.
welcome.
Moving along, EDC report. We do not have a report this month. Stormwater, Mr. Freeman.
Stormwater has nothing to bring to the board tonight.
Easy enough. Legal counsel, Mr. Cole.
I have nothing now. We have some things later on.
All right. Cicero Jackson Township Plan Commission report. Director Zawadski did send an email out with that information. He is going to present at the next meeting of this month. Does anybody have any questions on that or any comments? No? Mr. Strong, do you have anything to add?
No, sir.
All right. Yes, sir. All right, moving along. Town engineer report. Mr. Bryant is not with us tonight. He is in Hartford City. He did send an email out summarizing what he's got going on. Anybody have any questions on this?
No, we do need under wastewater to approve the application 14.
Okay. All right. Well, that being said, while we're under there, I'll entertain a motion to approve the application for
I'd like to ask a question before the motion. How often do we issue checks, Rhonda?
Every council meeting, for the council meeting, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We do utilities on Thursdays, so utilities don't get shut off. Those are every Thursday, and we do Tuesdays for council meetings.
So we issue checks like to vendors like twice a month usually?
Twice a month.
We just got this on Saturday. I don't know why we're expected to cut a check within like 4 days.
every time.
I don't know what business you submit an invoice and you get paid within 5 days. Just an observation.
Yeah.
We get these things and we're expected to immediately turn around payment.
I mean, theoretically speaking, if we approve it tonight, when's the check run?
Tomorrow.
Oh, it is actually tomorrow. Okay, so we're not even working off a net 10.
That's kind of my point.
Are the
I don't want to
payment-
withhold unnecessarily, but that's just like
Are the payment terms spelled out?
awfully aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, we have a pretty detailed written agreement because we're operating under the build, operate, transfer statute, where we negotiated the payments and the allowable expenses and everything on the front end.
So are there terms, payment terms?
Yeah, there are terms. In terms of turnaround, I don't think we're expected to turn around in 4 days. I think we have 30 days to turn something around.
every time we see an invoice, it needs to be paid immediately. That's kind of my overriding point. So
Yeah.
if you all are comfortable with it, we can continue.
That's about one.
It is about.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comment on that? I mean, is this something we want to pursue, or is this something we want to continue down the path we're on?
Looking to see what payment trends are.
Okay.
How do you-
Terms, 1%, 10, that fee. That was two
Term.
invoices. I guess that was to them.
It's just dated 8/27, I don't know. That's not. And this is just supporting documents.
The town shall pay all amounts owed within 30 days of receipt of the payment request.
We can wait
And
for
so that's
this.
what we're working under. Now, when does Keith receive that? Because before it comes to us, it goes to Keith.
that?
True.
Well, turn that over, what's it dated? That's when I.
So it's the period 8/18.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that.
Where does this money sit, Rhonda? Is the money we would pay this from earning interest?
Yes, I draw it down from the, I think it's the Bank of New York. I submit a request, he wires the money and I release it the same day, well, usually, same day usually.
So I have a question out to Keith. Let's, so I have a question out to Keith. Let's hold to the next council meeting.
It's fair.
Get a response back. So my question to him was we paid, in pay application 13, but then there was a deduction, so he might have responded, but I'm not 100% sure if he did or didn't.
I never saw the response.
I didn't get a response either. That's why I asked.
I'm not trying to unnecessarily withhold payment, but I think this, especially if we're earning interest on that money,
It's a fair
I think
point.
it's a
It's
fair
valid point.
thing to consider. So, Aaron, so you confirmed in our
Yeah.
terms? Can you read it again?
The town shall pay all amounts owed within 30 days of receipt of each bot payment request. And so that's what we're looking at. I would say the date we receive it is when it goes to Keith, because he reviews it for us to make
Right.
sure it's allowable.
So
Okay.
this was through 8/18. So the
Okay.
16th is our next meeting. Needs to be approved.
So you want a motion to table?
I
Or
don't
do
even
you?
need that.
I don't think we need that. We
Don't need
never.
that.
All right, I'm good.
Okay.
Make sure that's on the next meeting,
I will.
please.
All right, moving along, anything else under town engineer report? Nope, okay, moving along to old business, which we have none.
I'm sorry, going back. We've had a lot of discussion on globes. Have we come to a consensus that we are all in favor of the clear globe so that I can formally request Keith to investigate that?
I think they all need a match.
I agree.
I thought we already crossed that bridge, yes, I want clear.
Clear, Joe?
Agree.
Okay, I will send a formal
Clear.
request to Keith to start moving on that.
All right, back into new business, festival funds. Mr. Renner?
Okay, I'm here tonight to speak to you about requesting $6,000 of the festival funds to use them in the park. And
Jim, is your microphone on?
yes,
Could you speak up a little, please?
okay, is that better?
A little bit.
Okay. So every year for the festival, the Lights of Remorse Festival, we do, all the vendors that come in and set up pay a fee to set up in the park for those days. This year, the Friends of the Park turned in approximately just a little over $10,000 in revenue from those vendors. That fund was set up years ago to allow into a non-reverting fund, and that fund is to be used for any police, fire, parks, street department needs for future festivals, whether it be cones, parking signs, no parking signs, barricades, things like that. That's traditionally what we've always used it for. The last few years, I've used quite a bit of it for upgrades in electrical and water, things like that in the park, improvements in the bathrooms, things like that. This year, I'd like to ask for $6,000 of that $10,000 to do some electrical improvements, or I'm trying to put together a plan to put a PA system in the park, but struggling with that. So I'm not so sure it'll be toward a PA system, which was my original intent. I think that's gonna be too costly, but I've not ruled it out yet. So I'd like to just leave it as electrical improvements in the park.
What kind of electrical improvements are you talking about?
I need to add more service and outlets along the west side of the park for your normal vendors, so they can plug into 110 and credit card readers and fans, lights, things like that. I plan to do that not with a permanent electrical source in the park, but a cart, if you will, with a 100 amp service on it, and then we can run cords back to our existing facilities. That will allow me not only to use it in Community Park, but I can use it at Red Bridge Park during the Haunted Trail, which we struggle with electricity out there for all those booths and things on the south end of the trail. This would allow me to extend my electrical to many more vendors for probably 150 feet.
Questions for Mr. Hunter?
I just had a question since I'm new to this. You said 6 of 10, 6,000 out of 10. Lance, do you guys need anything related to this?
No, we talked about it.
Okay, you guys, sorry, I'm new to this. You guys already kind of coordinate on this.
Yeah, I reached out to Terry and Jeff and everybody ahead of time.
Jeff
to make
needed a
sure.
bit. We also keep back 2,500 because we make donations to Lights Over Morrisburg pamphlet.
Perfect, thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Hunter?
I know there's been a problem in the past with electrical that you've had to work on, so it would be money well spent.
So I'll entertain a motion.
I would like to make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go for it.
Thank you.
Sir. All right, moving along, under new business to Mr. Culp's legal fee for the GO bond. So we have an annual retainer or contract essentially with Mr. Culp for his services, but that contract does not include any bond work that may take place. He does assume substantial risk in bond work, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, so that is a separate fee altogether. Has everybody had a chance to review that? Any questions, concerns? Okay, so that fee is $10,000 in addition to what we typically pay for him, which is in line with what we've paid in previous bonds. So if there are no questions, concerns, I'll entertain a motion to approve the legal fee for Mr. Culp relating to the GO bond.
So moved.
Motion.
Second, Dennis Johnson.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go there. Moving along to the MOU for First Due. Aaron, do you want to talk about that a little bit, please?
Yeah, and I may have Lance assess that. And at the end of the day, we're using First Due software to help us with tracking of our dispatching for public safety. At one time, this was something the county was going to continue using. The county has since changed their mind, but we would like to continue using it. And I think most, if not all, of the other units in the county are doing the same.
There's a couple that are not, but
Okay.
almost everybody else in the county is.
Is staying on First Due?
And so the county has agreed to let us do this, but they want to make it clear that this is our software, they're not responsible for it. It's not their job to make sure their information transfers into ours since we're the one using a different software. And so it's just spelling that out. I asked for several changes in there, the county made all the changes I requested.
And essentially, the county covers all fees, correct? Associated.
Right, and if there is anything they have to do, they have to ask us and get our approval before incurring an additional cost.
Gotcha. All right, any questions?
It was, I don't remember, it's costing us how much?
$5,000?
I want to say, purchase price is around $6,000 a year.
Good.
Questions, comments? I know we've talked about this a few times, so if there are no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve the MOU for First Due software.
So moved. Emily Pearson.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second, Dennis Johnson.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Moving along to the agreement with August Mack, Environmental Agency. Mr. Culp, would you like to hit on that a little?
Yes, as council's aware, we are looking at acquiring a piece of property That property's had some environmental work done on it in the past, and so this is to pay to do a phase 1 environmental study. It's to make certain that there hasn't been anything that was overlooked, any testing that should have been done, or any recommendations that weren't out there. It's a phase 1, and depending on the results, we may decide to proceed to a phase 2. And so this is just an agreement to allow that to move forward.
Questions?
I don't
It's
know
not-
my questions.
It's not real expensive, but where would we pull it from?
We're talking about 3K for this one, right?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, it's 20-something, it's not even 3. I'll find it.
Okay, I'm good.
You just gave me 2.5 million, what are you thinking?
All right, if there are no other questions on the August MAC agreement, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agreement with August MAC. Go ahead.
So moved, Dennis Johnson.
Second, Emily Pearson.
Motion in favor, all in favor, I'm sorry, motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, good to go. All right, on the comments by citizens, we've got one blue slip.
Can we do
Feel free.
miscellaneous first?
Yes, never mind.
I just want you to know, the town completed a audit with State Board of Accounts last week, and all funds have been accounted for, and we did very well on the audit, so just wanted you to be aware.
Awesome, thank you very much for your work on that.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking care of
Thank you very
How long did that audit go on?
5 days?
Okay.
Something like that.
I might add to that, that Everett, the guy who was making the audit, phrased almost like he was paid by Ron
I just got 2.5 million.
But I guess the norm is not what Rhonda does, and for her to have all of her pre-work already downloaded, and it made his job so much easier. It was very much appreciated, so
Thank you.
well done.
Good.
Thank you very much. Yeah, he said we saved $8,000 by having everything readily available for him,
Nice work.
uploaded into Gateway, so it was a very good audit, so
Good work.
Great job.
thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much, thank you all. All right, moving on, back to comments by citizens. Feel free to step forward, state your name and address.
Thank you. I'm Andre Maui, 22410 Gifford Avenue. And I'm not sure what to call this topic or how I'm going to say this. I probably should have written out a statement. I've been to the last couple of meetings because of the Estridge development, and I felt like after some observations, I wanted to share, I guess, comment, some affirmation, and some critique as well. I chose not to do this at the last meeting because I didn't want to detract from your main event, and I wanted to think a little bit more and process what I was going to try to say here tonight. I love, first of all, that you open your meetings with the pledge and an acknowledgement of someone that we owe everything to. And I am so glad that we have not succumbed to a lot of the influences that are trying to just wipe both of those things out. That's awesome. And then this evening to hear about a spaghetti dinner, I didn't know anything about that before, in fundraising support of our police and fire. That is, I don't know what could speak more to small town charm than a spaghetti dinner fundraiser for first responders. That's cool, and that's great. I think every single one of you, from what I can tell, is doing your absolute best, heartfelt, great intentions for our community, and I thank you for all of that. I have some concerns that you may take this small town charm tendency or attitude or whatever, perhaps a little too far in your decision making. And it wasn't actually about the Estridge development. I think I don't know if you recall, because you heard from a lot of people, but I'm not in favor, like many people that you heard from. It was before that I decided that I was going to come back here to talk. You were talking about the streetlights. You mentioned the globes again tonight. And actually, I didn't follow all the details because I'm not staying up on all of the business and all the projects yet. I'm still learning on where to find information and finding time to learn about the community. But you were specifically discussing how many lights to put someplace. And forgive me, I don't have those details. And all I could think was, I can't believe our town council is going to make that decision. There are professionals who do that on the basis of things that hopefully would give us a better outcome because they're professionally trained, but also, God forbid, would be defensible in court if there was ever a tragic situation for safety or security. And I felt like, wow, this council should be approving a contract for the person who has the software tools to run photometrics or whatever. I'm not a lighting designer either. So unless any of you are, it's like, why would you have that protracted discussion during a council meeting? And I would hear things like, that area doesn't seem very big and it seems like enough lighting. And hopefully that issue turns out to be no big deal, right? It's just what I heard that evening kind of surprised me as opening us up to a liability and actually burdening all of yourselves with more effort than you probably should have to put into that. I would think those kinds of things would be outsourced. I realize there's a cost to that. There's also a cost sometimes to not doing that. And another topic, I think there was a curb cut discussed, or that may have been related to the Estridge. Again, the engineers, the traffic studies, the professionals who know things that I don't, and again, unless any of you are trained in sight lines and all the different things that go into that, I think if those decisions are made by you in this room based on your gut, albeit well-intended, that's a liability potential, and also that means our results would vary as each of you come and go over the years, right? We would have a lot of differences throughout the community. What somebody thinks is light enough in one area might not be in another area. So I just wanted to implore you to, I don't know if it's even upping the game, it's changing the game. It's not being so much small town when you get into those kinds of decisions. To reiterate, on the Estridge thing, you know, I was unhappy about that. I heard you loud and clear that you felt you raised the bar because it's a quality product. And I don't know if I said it, but if I didn't, I agree it's a quality product. It was never about that, it's the location. If somebody opens a dumpster factory in my backyard and they're really nice shiny dumpsters, it's not the quality, it's the location for it. I don't think you raised the bar. I think you threw the bar away. You raised the bar on the product, but you threw away the boundaries and you put a target on your back. Well, that came out wrong. That's not a threat. You're not putting a target on your back. A target on this whole council and this whole community for just well, I guess there are a bunch of really nice people. We can come in and propose what works for us, not what works for their plan. And I think sometimes being too nice bites us in the end. I'm guilty of it myself sometimes in business and other things. I know it's a difficult position to be on your side of the table and sometimes saying no. In my previous experience elsewhere on the Plan Commission, I voted in favor of a lot of things I didn't like because it fit the plan and the criteria and it made sense. I also opposed several things that I did like for the same reasons, because it wasn't about me trying to be nice or trying to get what I preferred in the community. It was develop a plan and all of the other criteria that go. I'm not only talking about the comp plan, I'm talking about your procedures as a town council. Follow those, toughen up when you need to, but still keep the spaghetti dinners and that small town stuff. And that's what I wanted to come back and say is I was so happy about some things and so concerned about others. I just wanted to share that.
So first, and I'll comment on a few things. Thank you very much for standing up and saying that. We don't get comments like that very often. It's actually very much appreciated when we get that type of feedback. So let's talk about the lighting first. We do lean on our town engineer for the design work and everything that goes into that. What you're referring to is essentially a change order right outside of here. And Aaron, you guys help me here. And it comes down.
I had fuss.
Yeah.
It was a horrible design.
Yeah.
We didn't catch it. We hired an engineer. I actually had an email out, should we be hiring a different, and it's been brought up, a different firm that has additional aesthetic understanding, maybe is the right term. Because it was horrible. So I'm the person that brought it up. You're right, I don't want to design this crap. I don't mean that in that way.
No, I know what you mean.
But I don't want to spend time. I mean, Dan has spent hours, Terry has spent hours down here trying to figure out what to do. And it just didn't look right. So that's that. We do pay an engineering firm. And there was an issue in this particular spot.
And it came down to the placement of electrical box, which was unexpected. Then there was unexpected building addition, essentially, outside of Broncos that was not accounted for. We didn't realize they were going to, as soon as we started doing that, they decided they're going to put sliding glass doors on the side to get out to it. So that changed our location of our lighting. So super appreciate what you're saying. We are trying to go down that path. We just ran into some unexpected items on that one. To the estrich thing, happy to talk about that because, as you know, that's a very, very difficult decision. So, and I'm going to speak for me. I'm not going to speak for the rest of the council. I spent the better part of the last 3 years doing everything I can, talking to the county, making sure it doesn't go haywire out there. So we get feedback from the community when 700 Lennar homes are coming in, and we ask what's the type of development that should be out here, and we're told 200 to 250 higher value homes with larger lots. Well, that's what comes along here. So we're in the situation where we have to assess that, but at the same time, it keeps being brought up that the county has their break even, and they're chomping at the bits to get utility connections. So for me, part of it was strategic because I don't want growth. I don't want it either. But I'm trying to look at it from the standpoint that, looking at history, they tend to find their way through this. So I'm going to throw a question back to you in a second, but we're in a situation where they're going to find a way to get these homes in here. They're going to try all they can, whether that be Westfield annexing north or what have you. We put an annexation plan in place to go down 236, down 216th Street, and in to block Westfield from being able to do that. We had a financial shortfall with it, so we went to the county to see if the county would be willing to keep the roads, because the road tax is more valuable to them than it is to us because of population. They agreed to maintain all the roads should we annex out the direction. Mind you, the group that came to us, that was their original request, was annexation. So now we've got two situations here where we've tried to go down the right path and we have moving targets. So we're trying to work within that the best we can. But the question I'm going to throw back at you is, when we talk about reasonable growth, and we go from 700 homes with an average value of 400,000, let's say, to, I guess we're in the 160 homes now, roughly there, out at Estridge, with an average value of around $1 million to $1.5 million, 41% green space. If not that type of development, then what?
Great question. So first of all, I didn't even expect responses, so I appreciate that, much less the dialogue. So I'm not going to try to keep you here all night, but this is wonderful. I did hear last time the comparison to Lennar, and I heard the mention, as you've just summarized, that was, what'd you say, 700 homes. We heard 200 was the number, and now the bar shifted or whatever. I can just tell you, I didn't live here when Lennar came through. I'm a new resident of Jackson Township. I was in a neighbor to the south at the time. I was 25 years in Westfield and watched it explode, of course, during that time. So when I heard that, I thought, well, that's not appropriate either for objectors to move the objection. When it's 700 to say 200, when it's 200 to say 10. I heard that, and that was my reaction. My second thought on that was, why are we comparing to a different petition? Because each petition stands alone by its merits. So if the Lennar one was junk, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, obviously didn't go through, just because this one's not as extreme doesn't mean it's right, because I think, back to my comments about the procedure, coming into this community, I as a resident, or anybody that's a business or whatever else, right? I don't know, and maybe you'll tell me I'm wrong on this, I don't know that it's standard as much to go look at all the petitions that didn't make it and all the comments to see, oh, what is going to actually be acceptable in the future? I would know to go look at Lennar's, I guess, meeting minutes, or your meeting minutes from Lennar to realize, actually, they're probably going to approve it if it's down around 200. I went to the comp plan and all the zoning and stuff that goes. To me, that's the official record. And all of the different petitions stand alone. So I can't answer for you what other people who commented back in the Lennar days that 700 was too much and 200 was the right number. I can't represent that, right? Not only I didn't say it, I wasn't even here to hear it.
Sure.
I only know that in the current time, in the plan that was adopted literally while the estrage petition was on your docket, that it was like, hey, that area's gonna stay ag. That's the guy, and I think I mentioned before, I expect a plan to morph a little, and the lines are blurry and whatever. So if it was, I don't remember the colors on the map, but it was in the ag area, but it was close to a R or something, I could see it. But when it's so squarely distant away, to me, it's like, well, that's the right answer. Because there didn't seem to be anything compelling that would inform anybody coming in otherwise.
Well, something to understand about the comp plan, there's a little bit of a moving target there too. Through those comp plan meetings, the committees wanted to intentionally leave flexibility in there while still offering a level of protection to those agricultural zones out there. The reason, and somebody jump in here, the reason those were left agricultural is to leave the flexibility to zone out of them should the right project come along. But we also left them agricultural to protect them from a perceived threat from BZA and zoning variances. So when they're zoned a certain way, there's certain variances that come up. So that was very intentional. But at the time, I don't know if it was strategic by certain members of that committee or what, but it was all agreed upon and discussed.
Yeah.
So our expectation of that was a guide, you know, on how to work. So, and to talk about your points comparing Lennar and Estridge, we're looking at the development, we're looking at where it's located, we're trying to take all that into account. And through this, you know, we're trying to understand what the real objections are. And so, in going back to moving targets, when we initially asked that, we don't want the utility hookups. Mr. Hayden did a lot of work and got that mitigated. You know, so there's a number of different things that go into it. The drainage. I mean, if you guys take, the people that live out there take that payment on, and the county did the drainage remediation, that's $8,800 an acre passed to you guys. Estridge is handling that. That's not why this was necessarily approved, but it definitely is criteria that goes into our decision making when we're trying to figure it out. So for me, it's trying to find a balance. And I said that in the meeting. I'm trying hard to negotiate and work with the county and keep the target off our back as much as possible. And I know there's going to be situations where people don't agree with it, and we're probably going to screw up on occasion too. I don't necessarily felt we screwed up in this situation. At that public hearing, which, you know, or at the council meeting, I should say, which was not intended to be a public hearing, we heard from 0.0001% of the population. You know, and even if you take all the letters in the accounts through everything through 3 meetings, we still heard from less than 1% of the 11,093 Jackson Township residents. So when an overwhelming majority is stated to be against it, that information is not totally accurate, and it's our job to wade through that. Because we did get a lot of positive feedback from residents here in Cicero. I expected that, being that the development is 4.5 miles away from where they live, and we try to take all that into consideration, and we absolutely will take all that into consideration moving forward. But there's gonna be times where we kind of have to take it on the chin here like we're doing now for the greater good, is how I view it. That's my opinion. I'm not speaking for anybody else here. I'm giving you my rationale.
Yep, and when I hear things too, like you say about overwhelming opposition or overwhelming support, it can be in a different day. I read through a lot of those things with a grain of salt too. You know, the vocal objector is not necessarily representative of an entire cross-section. I understand the numbers you look at in its entirety in your face. I'll say on the comp plan, that's not the first time now in meetings, whether in planning or town council, that I've heard that the intent was the flexibility and things like that. And admittedly, it's a lot, a document for somebody to sit down and absorb, and I may have missed something in that, right? So what I'm about to say, I may eat crow later on, but I don't think that was in there, and I would recommend adding that footnote, because that changes a lot the tone of what somebody expects when they look at that plan.
100%.
Completely agree. I think that's a mistake that we made.
And we didn't recognize it until after the fact, and it kind of got weaponized
Well,
against us.
I mean, it was agreed to, but in hindsight, it's easy in hindsight, right?
Yeah.
So.
Because again, it's not just me moving into the area, a year and a half, well, I guess it was about a year ago we moved, a year and a half we purchased. It's anybody who was here but wasn't as part of that process or wasn't in those meetings. When you go online, you're like, oh, okay, here's the document, and you spend a few hours and you pour through it and you read it and you think it is what it is, and then you find out everybody who was involved, who participated, kind of read that as I don't want to put words in your mouth. What you said, it's the plan that's got some flexibility. It changes a lot with that.
And a comp plan
means,
is meant to be a guide, not a legal document.
Oh yeah, it's not statutory, I get that.
Right.
So anyhow, again, thank you, great dialogue. I wanted to share that comment to you. There's some thumbs up and some maybe sideways thumbs in there as well, and appreciate your time.
Absolutely. And please keep giving. Please keep coming and giving us feedback. We need it.
Yep.
We're not working against you guys. I promise you. We are truly trying to make the right decision. For me, it's taking the emotion out of it and trying to look at this is what I do for a living. So I'm
Yep.
trying to figure out how to make it all happen the best way possible, and some of it's going to hurt. That's my view on it.
Yep, understood that. And as I picked my words kind of off the cuff this evening, if something didn't make the sense that I thought it did, or if you wanted to explore anything further, my contact information is on a blue piece of paper over there.
Awesome. And you're always welcome to reach out to any of us. Our emails and phone numbers are on the website. Please don't hesitate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And where's your blue slip? Come on now. We're talking about processes in here, and you don't have your blue slip in. Go ahead. We'll let it this time. Okay. But no, hold on. Processes. If you're going to talk without the blue slip, you're at least coming to the podium.
Name and address.
Ann Mayer, 629 Shore Lane.
I just want to say, if you want to keep the county off your backs, reorganization. I know you keep knocking it down and down and down. I don't get it.
And what does it accomplish? The annexation does not. Other than making your taxes go through the roof.
I don't.
Potentially. We have a pretty good idea. from
Yeah,
service standpoint.
I mean, from what I've heard, it hasn't made the Sheridan taxes go through the roof.
Not
No, they
yet.
sold their utilities.
They're living off $10 million from their utility sale.
So we could sell our utilities, but then it could be like Sheridan has, you can pay double for your water, and it can be brown water part of the time. So
Well,
I hope
that's something.
I hope it works out there. I really do, but
I know.
we still need time to tell.
I guess the thing is if there were a reorganization, the Jackson Township folks would have a seat on the board.
They
and
would
have-
with annexation too.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the tax revenue?
The tax revenue, at least with annexation, we can roll it out incrementally, so only the areas that are being annexed at that time, their taxes would change. But essentially, if we do a full reorg and go incorporated, tax rate in Cicero is gonna go up. We have the lowest one right now. Ag tax rates are also gonna go up based on that, because we're all gonna be responsible for the whole thing. One other thing I do wanna point out on the reorg side is Jackson Township doesn't need Cicero to reorg. They can reorg with any one of the municipalities.
Well, I understand that. I get that. I realize that. But this is the biggest.
Sure, and which means we have the most to lose, essentially.
Well, I guess, I don't know. And I've said this before, I've lived before with taxation without representation. And it sucks. It's, to not have a say of what's going in as your neighbor in your backyard or anything like that. And I just, I would like an update on your meeting with Debbie Driscoll and Alana
Schunpweiler. So basically, I met with
Because
Lynn.
if they're gonna eliminate townships, what are we gonna do? The county takes over.
The only person right now that's saying that there's a big concern about eliminating townships is Jackson Township. Everybody else that's putting this bill through, including the man that's gonna be on the committee right here, for government modernization, is not saying that's the case. The spirit of this bill is to clean up the inefficiencies of township trustees, especially in southern Indiana, where it's a small office that haven't paid out in 20 years and have a 20-year reserve of money, and they're hiring their family to do the mowing and all that. That's what they're trying to clean up and consolidate.
You can assure that Jackson Township won't go away.
We can't assure that right now, but that's not what they're looking at, of townships that size.
And the other thing with annexation, and I understand if you did a reorganization, you'd have to put it on the ballot for everybody to have a vote. But annexation only works if the owner agrees to it.
Yeah.
And in the meantime,
Westfield can come through and annex all along and take away Jackson Township.
So if everybody's in favor.
It just looks like a way of protection to me.
What I need to understand is how it protects us any different than annexation. We have the initial path for annexation will instantly block Westfield. And mind you, talking about moving targets, annexation was what was asked for us to do. We were already looking at reorg and going down that path, and we were going through the due diligence. Chris Lutz and I spent Christmas break in Marion hiring multiple lawyers trying to figure out what path we were going to do and how we could get it through. And then when we did a fiscal study and really saw the numbers, the shortfalls that come, especially in the first year, annexation made it look more sensible. And then when the county agreed to keep the roads, it was a no-brainer. But so what I'm not understanding from a
I guess
leadership standpoint,
I have a major fear of falling, all the people in Jackson Township falling under the thumb of the county commissioners, because I know how they are, and they don't care about their constituents.
we do.
I know you do,
And
but
if everybody out here is going to support reorg, why would they not support annexation? Is what I'm not.
well, I
still
don't know.
haven't got a
How
good
far
answer
out
on
are
that.
you going? How
We
far?
would go all the way down 236th Street on each side of the road to US 31, down US 31 on our side of US 31 to
And-
216th Street and in, which essentially would set the block from Westfield being able to come north.
And how's it going?
Well, the Northern Hamilton Preservation Group is currently using it as leverage against us to force a reorg. And our contention is we were doing this for you, so there's not really leverage here. If you don't want us to annex, we want to annex. We're trying to help you.
Right. Well, and
Or
like,
we're trying to help us.
and
We're
I'm
trying
in
to help us
town,
all.
so it doesn't. I mean, the annexation.
They become part of town, no different than a reorg would do.
So the major issue with reorganization, in my view, is we don't know what taxes are gonna do. For Jackson,
Right.
or for Sheridan and
Well-
Adams Township, it makes sense. They were in a different situation than what we are.
Right.
From a zoning perspective. I get it, but we don't know what taxes are gonna do over there. Give us 5 years and let's see. Let's see what that impact is. It might be the same, it might not be.
Well,
We
and
don't-
quite honestly, we don't know what the taxes are going to be with their SB1.
Well, that's the whole thing. SB1 throws a whole nother wrinkle into this. I was thinking about it today, actually.
You know, I mean, it could make us all homeless.
No
But
doubt.
the last thing that we wanna do is jump headfirst into something that we don't have the details on. and
Okay. But don't wait
believe. So
5
we-
years. Don't wait 5 years, because a lot can change in 5 years.
So,
Like, I might not
we-
even be here in 5 years.
we have spoken to Speaker Houston, sat down, he has spoken regarding this to other people, and we get the same output. That that township government is not going away.
Okay.
This is being done to try to curtail some specific cases.
And not only that, I'll flat say, because it was on a Zoom call with Debbie Driscoll. One of the first things she said is she doesn't think reorg is the right way to go with this. She flat said it. There's a little bit of fear mongering going on up here, and
Well,
I understand the emotional aspects
I
involved.
know.
But
And I just look, you know, my heart just goes out. You move out to be away from the city, don't bring it to my backyard.
sure,
You know, and let me have a vote, let me have a say.
annexation would accomplish all that at a clip we can afford.
And like reorganization, it wouldn't force people who don't want to be part of CISPR.
Right, it's super voluntary. Reorg would force everybody if it goes through on the ballot. At least you have a choice in annexation.
Right, but isn't there, like, it has to be consecutive properties, right?
Contiguous.
You can't, contiguous, you
Yes.
can't
And
skip.
we have, Dennis spent hours working this out. We've got the path. Kimberly's seen it. I gave her a copy of it.
Is there any way I can help?
Well, we're not
With-
even going down that path yet because we've basically been told that there's no way it's gonna happen now because,
By the homeowners?
no, by the group, we're basically being told it'll be undermined because they want reorg.
But if you deal with the homeowners directly, how can, and
You are correct.
You are correct in
I
that
wouldn't say
regard.
it's dead. I mean, Dennis has done a lot of work, and there are still
I mean, I
discussions
would
on
be
it.
happy to go with you and talk to homeowners. You know, I'm just volunteering. I'm serious. I think it's an important issue because you moved from Westfield. We don't want to become another Westfield. We don't want to become another Noblesville.
100%.
You know, I mean,
I just
if-
need you to know the details that go into our thought processes
Well-
and what we're trying to figure out to make sure we make the right decision.
okay. And I know you guys work hard on it. We don't hear all the feedback.
Mhm.
Do you know what
I
I'm
get it.
saying? It's like transparency. Keep us in the loop. Let us know what comes of these meetings. Let us know what you've been spending on, previously to get to the decision where you are, and I'll go with you and talk to homeowners if, I'm serious, I really would.
We just want to make sure this annexation effort is not hostile. We're not trying to force ourselves
No,
on
I'm
it.
not
So if
saying
people
that.
out there don't want it, we're not going to pursue it.
No, but
Yeah.
just for them to see the benefits.
Right.
Of someone who's not a politician. Using that, your guys are politicians, but someone that isn't a politician. I would be happy to,
No, we appreciate that. Look, we have the same goal. Right now we have two different ideas of how to get there. And for us to make a decision like that, we do. We do consider the people in the township. When it comes to the zoning, we are their representation. But ultimately, when zoning's not involved, they're Jackson Township, and we have to look out for Cicero. And that's what we're trying to do,
Right.
number one. At the same time, we're trying to work and come up with something that works for everybody involved.
right, I know. But on the zoning, they don't have a say.
They do, they have
It's
two
two
seats.
seats on the
Yeah,
planning commission.
on the planning
It's the
commission.
commission.
I mean, we've only
Well-
approved one thing. I mean, but
No,
everybody
I
seems
know.
to forget when we
No,
say
no,
that.
no.
There's
I'm not
representation.
saying, I mean, it sounds, quite honestly, it sounds like it will be a nice community. I'm just saying, the people that live out there,
And one thing I did leave out as far as my rationale, and I know this doesn't matter to anybody out there, but I look at the commercial construction coming out there, and when I saw where that property was located, my first thought was, man, if we can get residential in there, they can't keep coming back with commercial
Yeah.
through there. So
Yeah.
that was part of my thought process too. So
Sure.
we're playing chess here,
I
and
know.
frankly, we're playing against Bobby Fischer.
you know what, I don't want your job, but I will go help you talk to homeowners. I would be
Right.
happy to do that.
And we may need to take you up on that at one point, but before we do that, we need agreement from the people out there that that's what they want.
But you have to have you made the initial contact with the homeowners
Not yet,
yet?
we just got the fiscal study back about a month ago, and then there's been a little bit going on.
So
Yes,
let's,
Dennis and I have met with 5 different individuals, I think it was 5, wasn't it?
It was.
So there have been some discussions, I mean, they have property out there.
and so if they're annexed, do their taxes go up then? I mean, what is the
That would all
con?
have to be, that would all have to be worked out, that's.
I mean, you have a list of pros and cons
You
for,
can set those as you go, depending on what services and what happens on it.
But they would be incorporated. If we annex, it becomes incorporated Cicero. You have a representative sitting right up here. You all have all
You could
voting
have a
power.
representative, so it could
Well, they
be
fall in a
district.
district.
So depending on district boundaries.
Right.
It could be.
right,
But Joe and my seat are at large, so, I mean, anybody in the town can
Right.
run for those seats.
right.
So theoretically, you could have up to 3 representatives out in that area.
Which wouldn't be really any different than reorg. I mean, reorg is just a complete rewriting of the government.
I guess my understanding is reorg keeps the county out.
So does annexation. You're just being sold
Right now, the county's not involved.
at all.
The county's not involved, so.
And if we
there's
keep
no
going down the path
legislation.
we're going, the goal is to keep them from inserting themselves more. This is keeping them at bay.
Right.
And reorg does not get rid of the utilities.
No.
That
No,
does-
I realize that, but it keeps you guys in charge rather than the commission.
So does annexation, though.
Right,
Well,
but
what
that's
we
a
do is-
property at a time.
There's no legislature in place that's gonna take township government away at this time.
Okay, no, I know, but even if that weren't on the agenda, still, you're talking annexation as a piece of property at a time.
But we would take all that in at once. It would be the ultimate goal. That's why we didn't do the whole county. That's why we figured out exactly what we needed to set the block, and that would be phase one. Get the block set. So the county can't, Westfield can't annex North. That
Okay.
was the spirit of that.
Okay. Well, you know, the mayor of Westfield used to be my son's CO up in the Marine Corps up
Did he
at
really?
Grissom. Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Wow.
And I've met Scott before,
So
so.
are you saying you have a poll with him?
No, I do not. He doesn't want to see me, trust me.
And
Okay.
I'm sorry, the other thing I wanted to say is 3 separate town boards have felt the same way.
Well, I
3 separate
understand
town
that. I know
councils.
that. I
And
know
we're
that.
all here to take care of the citizens, so there's something wrong if all 3 town councils
I
feel
know.
the same
I
way.
just see it as one big happy family rather than, you know, so.
It'll cost dearly if we do it, I really believe that.
Well, I hope it doesn't cost dearly not doing it, so.
But no,
It won't.
like I said, there's still a lot to work on. Annexation is the path we would like to go down, but that all comes down to what they want out there.
Okay.
Because we're not gonna hostily force ourselves.
Well, let's get going on it,
Sure. So,
you
all right.
know? Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you as always. Anyone else? Since we,
I will be on vacation September 18th through September 26th.
I hope you enjoy that vacation. Vic.
Don't you worry.
I'll make a motion to close public comment.
We're not quite there. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't have to close public comments.
Well, then I'll shut
Comments
up.
by citizens is always there.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, Mr. Hunter.
I just want to say on the 23rd of August, we had our street fair in the park this year because of downtown construction and the numbers we were able to get from cell phone data. We had 3,100 people in attendance for the event, and that doesn't include any children, so we're speculating we had 4,000 plus. But it was well received, and I think we had a wonderful turnout, and that's where we plan to do it again.
Awesome. It was a great event. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how good it was at the park.
Yep.
Oh, good deal. Thank you very much for your work on that, everybody involved. Anybody else have anything to say? If not, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Got a motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all.
All right.